The following is a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. For more information, please visit our website at dallasgenealogy.org. All right, well, good morning, everybody. It is 11 o'clock, and I believe in rewarding the prompt, and that's you. So thank you for being prompt. Thank you for being here. So welcome to all of you that have joined us here in the library and to all of you who are out there in Zoom land. So my name is Tony Hansen, and I'm the president of the Dallas Genealogical Society. And again, welcome. Glad to have you here. I'm going to start the meeting off on a little bit of a sad note, though. Hopefully many of you have heard already, but if you haven't, my sad note is my clicker's not working. There, but Happy McCook has passed away this week. Happy is a longtime DGS member and was leader of our MacGen special interest group for many years, and been in declining health. And unfortunately, she passed away. So I don't have any details or any information much beyond that, but it's just a really sad event for us. So I wanted to share that with you. Moving on to more mundane stuff, I just want to point out that we do have our meeting minutes available on the website. So every month we post them after the meeting, and you have the opportunity to go up there and review them. I'll ask at this point if anybody has any corrections or updates or changes to the minutes from last month's meeting. Hearing none, I'll compliment Terry Turner, our secretary, for doing such a good job. You can get to them on the website by going to events and then the next general meeting and then meeting minutes. And so you'll see them for the previous meeting and all previous meetings as well as recordings from meetings that we have recorded as well. Financially, we're in pretty good shape. Susan Rainwater, our treasurer, has submitted the following report. So we've got about 14,000 has been changed in checking. We've got about 61,000 in a savings account, and then a little bit more than $100,000 in an investment account, trying to earn a little more interest than we're getting in checking. But we're in pretty good shape, and it's good because we've been spending some money as well. So you should probably be familiar with the fact that we've been raising money through the North Texas Giving Day, and we raised some funds for a newspaper archive, and the bill came due. So we did just recently write a check for almost $4,000 to keep the newspaper archive available up on the 8th floor of the library here. So that's part of where the money that we raise from our fundraising goes to. Oops. We've also just agreed to pay the support on the copybook scanner that we purchased back 2017. So that's about $4,000 a year as well. That's due for software updates, any hardware updates, and any service calls that need to be made. And it's just a cost of keeping that thing operating and running. It is one of the two that we have up there. One is ours, and one is provided by Family Search, and the good Family Search folks here that are scanning some of the out of copyright books there. We also did recently renew our box truck scholarship. This is where we've provided the Dallas Public Library with $1,500 a year. We've funded this for the next 5 years. And these are funds that are available for the staff at the Dallas Public Library to get additional training. So if they want to attend TIGR or GRIP or those types of things, the library selectively chooses somebody from the staff to be able to participate in that up to $1,500 a year. And we're very grateful to the Friends of the Dallas Public Library, an organization that supports all of the branch libraries here, but they're administering that fund for us. They have the mechanisms and the hooks and what have you. So we just give them the check. They handle all the bills for us. And again, we're very grateful to them for that. So those are just a few examples of where some of the funds that we have been raising have been going. And of course, we're always looking for opportunities like that to support the Dallas Public Library. One of the things that we as an organization have done since our inception back in 1955. We've been a little bit busy digitizing some stuff as well. There was a publication created back in 1892. It's the Biographical History of Dallas County, Texas. Why am I talking about that? Well, back in 1977, we as an organization digitized that and made it available on microfilm, and it has since been published and is now available on a variety of platforms. Back at the same time, we also went through and we did a name index of that publication. So we went through the book itself and indexed all of the names that were identified in the book, and we created that as a paper publication as well. So that publication has now been digitized. It's available on our website as a PDF file. It is also available on the Family Search website. So we submitted it to them. They digitized it for us, and it is, I just checked yesterday, it is definitely available up there. So thank you for doing a great job of digitizing it, and it is there. And so you can get that by going to collections, publications, and then other documents on our website. Another little project that we had that just rolled up was dealing with some marriages in Dallas County. This was a book that wasn't a book, it was a publication where we went through and indexed all those things and created a volume three. So the book, the Dallas County book, or Dallas City, I guess, county books I, J, and K. And this was only created as a microfilm document. It was never published as a book. But Linnell Moss had owned a copy of the microfilm, and she went through and made a digital image of all of those copies and gave them to me. And we have assembled them and put them into a PDF file. And again, that is a document that is now available. And so that's something that we're looking to go back to investigate, is some of these films that we have that are here at the library. We think if the original document is out of copyright, we're free to go back to those digital images and do this kind of thing as well. So we're going to be taking a little deeper dive at that and to see if we can't revive some of these things that are only available on microfilm and maybe make them available in a little more modern format. So yes. So the question is it only volume three? We have volume one and volume two digitized already. We had the paper copies of those and we were able to scan those. So this is an addition to those two. Right, there are more. So we're going to go back and see if we're going to take a look at the microfilm and see if we can't do the same thing, digitize them, PDF them, and pop them up on the website. So I had an opportunity to go over and meet the chairman and the CEO of something called Thanksgiving Square in Dallas. I'm curious, just a show of hands, how many of you are aware of Thanksgiving Square? Okay, so you all on the call can see that's a pretty good percent. I had never heard of it personally. Yeah, which I'm getting surprised looks here. I've been in Dallas 30 years. I know. I don't get out much. So for those of you on the call that are wondering, it's a wonderful little piece of real estate downtown. It's kind of bordered by Bryan, Hervey, and Pacific Streets. It was created just about 60 years ago. I believe so, because they're coming up on their 60th anniversary. That's kind of what kicked all this off. Gus Hinojosa, who's our board member at large, arranged the meeting, and I got to meet the gentleman that is in charge of it. I'm having a senior moment. My name just went boop. Anyway, the point is that they are having a 60th anniversary, and we're going to get involved with that. But I guess the one thing that I did discover, much to my pleasure, that you all probably know about too, is the great Christmas tuba fest they have every year. Apparently, the last business day before Christmas, they have hundreds of tubas that cram into the square there. And I went there with my wife and my sister-in-law, and they went through about 15 different Christmas songs. It's wonderful. It's an amazing little event, an amazing place, and a pretty interesting organization. But the purpose of the discussion was to see if somehow our organization and their organization couldn't do something together. And we've achieved that a little bit. They now know that there's a genealogy society in Dallas, and the president of your society now knows there's a Thanksgiving Square in Dallas. So that's a win-win for both of us. But what we agreed on to try to do in kind of helping them celebrate their anniversary is we are going to try to create kind of a biographical, genealogical write-up on some of the founding members of their organization. There were four men that kind of formed the organization. There was a couple of others that were involved in making it happen. And what we're going to do is kind of take a deep dive into their history, come up with information about their families, and just kind of create a, hey, this is their life kind of a thing. They're all since passed on, so they're not alive. But we're going to provide this as a write-up back to the Thanksgiving Square folks for them to use in any way they want to, hopefully in their anniversary celebration and perhaps in some other marketing as well. So if you're at all interested in participating in this project, let me know. I'm looking for people to do some research. I'm looking for people with some good writing skills. As I said, we're going to turn this over to them when it's all said and done. We'll probably also publish them in our newsletter. And, we just have talked about how cool it would be if we started investigating the lives of some of our prominent citizens. It seemed like a good opportunity to kind of kickstart that. So president at dallasgenealogy.org, and that's me. And if you're interested, let me know. We'll be happy to get you involved in that as well. You're probably tired of hearing about it, but tough. You're going to hear about it again. We have some really great seminars coming up this year. We got Tom Jones, who's going to be here on April 12th, Nick Smith on July 27th, and we've got Blaine Bettinger in September talking about DNA. And to gear up for that, because we did pick some advanced topics for Blaine's presentation, we're going to hold our own internal DNA seminar in June. So this is going to be a DGS run thing. But the idea here is to help people kind of get jump started on dealing with DNA. We're going to ask you to, prior to June, ask you to submit your own DNA sample to Ancestry.com so that when you come to the conference, you're going to have your own information to work with. And we're going to kind of walk you through step by step. So if you've not ever thought about doing your DNA, or you've done it and you don't know how to take the next step, this is the event you want to pay attention to. So yes, Gene. Right. So what Gene is pointing out is that ancestry doesn't do some of these other tests. They only do the autosomal test. And so, yeah, but we needed to start somewhere, and ancestry seemed like a really good common place to start with, and we'll focus in on the autosomal. Blair's going to talk a little bit about some of these other things. We will touch on them and explain what they are. At least we think. We have not yet formalized the agenda for this yet. We're still working on that. Right, right. But rather than having people, testing out 3 or 5 things, we're just trying to get to where somebody's just getting started. And we thought ancestry was probably the most benign place and the easiest thing because they have so many tools and resources. So we'll get you started there, and we'll talk about some of these other things, and that'll be things you can do after June. But good point. And by the way, you're on the committee, Gene. We need your help. Gene co-chairs our DNA special interest group. Speaking of interest groups, we've got some interest group meetings coming up. January 13th, the German genealogy group is meeting. On the 18th, the DNA interest group is meeting in the evening, and the 20th, our African American group as well. So I encourage you to get involved in these other organizations and take a little deeper dive into some aspects of genealogy that you may not be familiar with. And again, you can find information by going to the website under calendar, clicking on special interest groups, and that will pull up a list of all of the interest group meetings, and those have links on them so you can click on them and get additional information, meeting times, and what have you. But again, just a really interesting way to meet some other people and to learn a little bit more about things that you just may not be involved in directly. It's hard to believe, but we need to start forming a nominating committee to nominate the next slate of officers. We have to present the slate in April, and we actually hold the election in May. It just seems like we just went through this, but I am looking for a couple of things. I'm looking for people that would like to be on the nominating committee. Your primary responsibility there is to find somebody to run for president, vice president, and secretary. Those are the 3 elected positions. Everything else gets appointed after that. So I need a couple of at-large people. I need a couple of board members. You know who you are. But I also need some people interested in running. And so again, I just would like to, ask you all to contemplate on, what you get out of the society, and is it time to possibly start thinking about giving a little something back? And would you like to be involved in a leadership position? I know this looks like a lot of work, and it is, but it's a lot of fun. We really have a lot of fun doing this. So I just would like, again, to ask all of you to kind of think deeply, look around the room, think about people you know, and maybe prod some people and say, hey, you'd be a good secretary, or you'd be a good vice president, or what have you, and let us know. And I'll take volunteers now. Anybody wants to be the next president. And again, you can reach out to me at president@dallasgenealogy.org if you're interested, or if you have other questions about that. The library is going to be holding it's the 25th annual Legacies Dallas History Conference. It's going to be here on the 7th floor on January 27th. And we've signed up as a supporter for that, and we'll be here. We'll have a table and be an exhibitor at the event as well. So come on down, sign up for that, and learn some more about Dallas history. It's an interesting town. And okay, I just want to point out too that as I mentioned at the beginning, if you go to events, next general meeting, and then meeting minutes, you'll pull up information about previous meetings. With the authors or with the presenter's permission, we record all these meetings. We record the general meetings. We record the presentations as well, and make them available for as long as they will allow us to keep them up. We had a really good meeting last December, which was recorded. It was Kevin Klaus from the Texas General Land Office did a great presentation about the records and resources available there. And then afterward, we had Stephanie Bennett from the genealogy and history section upstairs, and Kelvin Myers, who is the author of a book about genealogy here in Texas, did kind of a 30-minute question and answer of that as well. So if you didn't get a chance to attend the meeting in December, the recording is definitely well worth taking a listen to if you're all interested in Texas history. So that recording is there. We're going to record Jen Baldwin today. She's going to allow us to have this recording up for a couple of weeks, and we have a lot of other recordings there. So take a look at some of the stuff. We got some, had some great speakers through here. There's some great topics. And you're bored and looking for something to listen to, check out that page. I'm also be interested in hearing from you what you think about the meeting here on the 7th floor. And I think the coolest thing about it was the hashtag Todd came up with was, pound no steps. We're having the meetings here all through the rest of this year, through May. rather than being down in the auditorium, which is just the seating's not quite as comfortable. You don't have tables like this. You have a lot of steps to get up and down. And we thought, well, this just would be an interesting change of pace and maybe a little better environment. Love to hear your feedback on that. Let me know what you think about that. But we'll be up here through all of the meetings through May. And we'll be here next week to listen to LaDonna Gardner, who's a historic consultant, talking about surfing for African American records. I've heard LaDonna speak a couple of times, and she's a really, really interesting person to listen to, and well worth taking the time and the effort to come hear her. I just want to give a shout out to everybody on my tech team, Todd Dedecker, Kim Edge, Paul Feather, and Melissa Fleming for doing all the things to make the Zoom stuff possible. And of course, the Dallas Public Library and all the staff here that make all of this happen. We have such wonderful facilities. They provide all the technical equipment, all the PCs, all the audio, the microphones, and everything. Matt Stebanis was here. He takes good care of us too. Okay, but we do appreciate. Good. We got some of the 8th floor staff up here as well. They just make it so easy for us to be able to meet here. Part of the bargain, though, some of you folks on Zoom, I know Zoom is easy, but the library is here because they have constituents in the library. And so thank you that have made the effort to be here. We just need to make sure that we support the library to a level that they can continue to be here for us. And so think about coming down to the library now and then. It's a great, friendly bunch of people, lots of good stuff upstairs. Come check them out and let's support them so they can continue to support our needs as well. So with that, I'm going to let Patty Smith, our Director of Marketing, come up here and introduce Jen Baldwin. I'm going to do some Zoom magic here and hopefully get this thing set up for her. So take it away. This has been a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. If you're already a member, thank you. Your fees have been supporting these and other society activities. If you're not yet a member, please consider joining now. Go to dallasgenealogy.org and click on the membership tab.